Welcome to Contemporary Living with Farmer and Hill. I am one of your hosts, Andre Hill, and to the left of me is my lovely, beautiful wife, Melissa Farmer Hill.
Hello.
And today we have a very special guest. He's a former alderman over in Harvey, Illinois. He is an author, he is a motivational speaker, and he is a life coach. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Lamont Brown.
How are you guys doing?
We're doing great. How you doing?
Fantastic. I'm great. I'm awesome.
Yes.
I am happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
Yes.
We're extremely happy that you could come to the show. We know that your schedule is extremely tight, so thank you for taking time out. And I can't wait to tell our viewers a little bit more about Mr. Lamont Brown.
Yes. So we're gonna jump right into it. Tell our viewers a little bit about Lamont Brown.
Wow. Lamont Brown. I was born in Chicago native, and raised in Harvey, Illinois. I was born actually in Chicago and raised in the Augill Garden community.
Okay.
And we transferred over to Harvey, which was next door when I was about second or third grade. And my life has been a challenge from day one, seems like. But I've been able to overcome those adversities. And that's why I'm actually here today, because you know, some of those challenges included, you know, me being in handcuffs over 20 times.
Right.
Some of those challenges included me dealing with the fact that my mother was addicted to cocaine when I was in junior high school. Some of those challenges came with the divorce between my mom and my stepdad. Some of those challenges came with my sister dropping out of high school when she was number 1 and 2 in her class because she suffered, she dealt with a teenage pregnancy. So there was a lot of challenges and adversity. We was homeless for a couple of weeks, and I'm still here, and I'm still standing.
Amen.
And I just believe that if I was able to share my story with the world, that if they looked at me and said, "Hey, look, Mom can do it, I can too."
Right. Well, I'm glad you definitely stopped by. It's funny, our friend Cameron Randolph, he had been telling me for years, you and Lamont need to get together. Then I know you went to Thornton. I didn't know you personally, but I remember your face. You know people's face from walking by them and stuff like that. And then I ran into you at KFC one day. We stayed in Hyde Park at the time. Okay. And you was counseling somebody. That's how I ended up getting your number. So you know, it's funny how God works, and we're grateful that you came out today.
So I have a question.
Yeah.
Now, we know that you've gone through a lot of adversity. You've had a lot of challenges, and you've been able to overcome those challenges. But you had a career in politics, you are still involved in politics. So tell me, how did from your background, how did you get into politics? And I think politics right now, it's such a critical topic, especially with everything that's going on. And if you look at the leadership of the United States, you might have a certain opinion about it. But I want to know how you got into politics, and what was that journey like?
My motivation was the fact that there was so many people that wasn't getting involved. I started to be part of that problem. And not part of the solution. I did not want to get in politics, Lord knows. Lord knows. And I just felt like it was a calling or a pull. My grandmother, who's 81 years old, that's been living in San Antonio, Texas since '91, still real vibrant, evangelist, still prays every day. She's an entrepreneur, wanted me to come down there and be with her.
Yes.
And I wanted to. But it was something about me living life with no regrets. I didn't want to make that move knowing I didn't contribute to the betterment of my hometown, which is Harvey. So that's what caused me to say, you know what, let me stop talking about it, let me be about it. And that's what pulled me into that direction.
Okay, so I want to go a little deeper.
Okay.
So what was the journey? Because right now, I think we're in need of politicians who care, politicians that want to make a difference. And you may have a lot of people that's advocating for the things that we need to be that should be advocated for, but they don't have that voice. They want to do it, but it's hard.
Yeah, it's hard.
So we really want to know, especially to our viewers that are out there, and they say, I want to get in politics. I want to get involved. I want to make a difference. Because I know President Obama even mentioned that in one of his speeches. He said, if you want to make a difference, get involved.
Right.
So I know we have viewers that are really interested. So can you tell us some of those, maybe those intimate steps, if you could share just some of those?
Absolutely. We have to participate in our own rescue. That's number one. We have to participate in our own rescue.
In your own rescue.
And that's the approach I had. Now, because I was more of a community activist than I felt like I was a politician, I felt that would be a great ingredient for me to be involved because I was bold. I had no fear. I knew I couldn't be bought.
Right.
I knew that I was strong enough to stand on what's right because I wanted to sleep at night. I wanted to please God. Right. I wanted to maintain my integrity. But that became the characteristic of making me an enemy to the machine or to the status quo.
Right.
Because I couldn't be bought. Because I was not working for the city. Because I didn't have family members working for the city, so they couldn't threaten certain people's jobs to take those jobs away to make me vote a certain way.
Right.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
So I was the perfect profile for what the constituents in the community needed because they needed someone to speak boldly and to speak for them without reservation.
Right.
Exactly.
Okay. So that was my greatest accomplishment because the people began to have hope.
Yes.
And they said, "Oh wow, someone can speak to the mayor like that. Someone can speak to the alderman like that." And I was just speaking truth to power. I wasn't trying to be somebody that I wasn't.
Right.
I just saw that there was a lot of people dying in the dark, dying with silence. Dr. King said that if a man has not discovered something that he's willing to die for, he's not fit to live.
Right.
And he also said that violence is not what plague our community, but it's the appalling silence of good people.
Yes.
And we had a community of silent people.
Yeah.
And somebody had to come and wake them up. And I don't take all the credit because there was another individual who was the only other newly elected alderman in our city in the last election that was on the front line with me. And there was two other ones that was already pre-existing elected officials who decided to stand with the two young guys on the front line.
And
it was hard.
Right.
It was hard. And if I can just throw this in there.
No, go ahead.
I was also going through a divorce. I was also dealing with some challenges that my son had. So it was like this was the first time in my life that I was experiencing adversity in multiple areas at once. Previously, adversity may come, I handle it.
Right.
It may come, I handle it. I overcome it.
Yeah.
But it was concentrated, it seemed like in one time frame.
And I think it's a blessing that, out of adversity, you were able to grow.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Because like you said, you could have handled it.
Absolutely.
So you've grown.
Yes. I believe that life is not what you go through, it's what you grow through.
Yes, absolutely.
So everything was a character building experience. I never believe in losing. I believe that we either win or we learn.
Yeah.
And that's what I did.
And you know what? And I like that passion. I'm from Harvey myself. And I remember when we had Dixie Square.
Yes.
I remember we had Bob Buick on Dixie Highway when they had Burger King. I remember downtown Harvey when you had the storefronts and when you had the movie theater and things like that. So, when I hear you talk about Harvey and me being from Harvey, I can relate to you.
People thought we were rich.
Yeah, they thought you was rich in Harvey, right?
Being from Chicago, and if someone said that they were from Harvey, we were like, wow.
Yes,
right.
So I understand that perception.
Yes, my friends was like that. When we moved from Argyle Gardens to Harvey, they said, man, your family rich. They got money. Because it was at that time, it was Caucasian folks that lived on the block along with us. And all those wonderful things.
We had a lot of great things there. Ice Cream City, you had all those wonderful stores. Only store that's really still standing is Abazar's down on 154th. Yes. So I have to ask you. So what were some of the challenges you faced in your ward?
Well, the day of my swearing in, which was May 11th of 2015, an hour before, they strategically voted to eliminate the expense account of the alderman, right?
Wow.
And it was crazy because doing my research and discovering public information, they were misusing and misappropriating a lot of the money that was allocated to each alderman for a expense account. For example, some of the aldermen, or a couple of aldermen they had developed other companies, let's say a landscaping company, okay, to trim the trees in the alleys so that the seniors and other residents would feel safe pulling to their garage, where other people wouldn't, criminals wouldn't be hiding behind bushes to rob them in the dark.
Right.
Well, the money wasn't available to take care of that. The potholes in the street. There was money that was supposed to be allocated by the motor fuel tax that was supposed to be designated to fix the streets and the sidewalk. Well, because that money was misappropriated, a lot of the money in the expense account, people were using it for that.
Right.
But here's what the challenge was. Even snow removal services.
Wow.
Some aldermen will have their own snow removal company, right? They will pay themselves or those companies that they established and not do the work.
Wow.
So 1 hour prior to me being sworn in, we didn't even have that available. I didn't have an opportunity to finally make good use of the money and put it where it was, because the city said, we're going to take the expense accounts from all the aldermen, and then we're going to be responsible for fixing the streets, trimming the trees, and just providing the basic fundamental services that the property taxes from them homeowners was supposed to go for, right? But then the city didn't do it.
Yeah.
Right.
But the city was telling the residents to call the alderman. You took the money from us.
And I believe you and Chris Clark was bringing a lot of awareness into what was going on in Hardin, especially with the water issue.
Absolutely. And he's still at it.
Yeah.
He's still at it. That was the other alderman who was elected the same time I was, who was on the front line.
Yeah.
Okay.
And he's still battling out.
I know he's a lawyer. He's my former landlord too. So so we appreciate.
And let me say this about Alderman Chris Clark is he has put in the work.
Yes.
I saw it firsthand, and I'm just give a 60-second testimony.
Go ahead.
I would meet him at his office, let's say 10 p.m. With coffee. And we working on ordinances and legislation to try to improve the city. And we working up throughout the night, 1 o'clock a.m., 2 a.m., 3 a.m., 5 a.m. I'm waking up at 5:30. I got slob on my arm, and he's still up, tired, still working.
Wow.
Yeah.
He's put in the work, and that's just
No, that's fine.
a small testimony
Right.
of the work he's put in to help better our city. We need more of that.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I wanna switch gears for a moment, because not only is there politics, there's also, when we talk about community development and things like that, entrepreneurship.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Entrepreneurship.
Yes.
And you are an entrepreneur and have been for some time.
Yeah.
So I want to talk about some of the businesses that you are involved with, or some of the businesses that you have, and what you're currently doing now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. You take me all the way back from when I was making my transition from selling drugs on the streets to actually having legitimate income coming in. And that was a hard task to do.
Yeah.
And it started my first, maybe my second entrepreneur opportunity was me going to 71st and State Street to the warehouse where they sell all the candy.
The candy,
Right.
yeah.
And I bought a box of turtles. It was $60 in the box for $30. And my mindset was that I can't go back to doing what I was doing. I need to have income coming in because I had a criminal background.
Yeah.
It was a little hard for me to go in and just get a job.
Right.
I didn't give up. I was still filling out applications, but while I was waiting on the call back, I went, got the candy, went on 99th and Halsted and was selling turtles for $1. Because I figured if I can make $30, sell 60 turtles a day, which was giving a $30 profit.
Right.
Because it was 60 in a box,
Right.
and I paid $30 for each box. $30 a day for 30 days is $900.
Right.
$60 a day for $30 was $1,800.
Right.
And that was my hustle. I grind right there on 99th and Halsted, and somebody knew, they said, "What you doing out here?" "Hey, I got a job for you, man." And I went and worked the job temporary.
Right.
Because I still had my entrepreneurial mind, because I didn't want to work for anyone because I believed that it was limiting my creativity and my skills.
Right.
So I went to barber college, became a licensed barber, opened up 2 barbershops. One was in Harvard, one was in Riverdale. And then my partner and I, rest in peace, Pastor Shanova Elston,
Yes.
we had a vision of having a mobile barbershop. So we actually we launched in 2012 a mobile barbershop on wheels.
Right.
And we would service people at their home, their office, at the basketball court, wherever they called, we went and we made money. And then whether it was me trying to help folks with network marketing opportunities, where there was low investment, where they can make a high return, you know, just teaching them the basics of entrepreneurship and the benefits of it.
Yeah, and I think that's so good that you started from the beginning of your entrepreneurial journey, because a lot of people think, well, I have to have so much money. I have to do this. I have to do that. I think it takes the desire to do it, and you have to put in the work.
Absolutely.
And I think the work creates, as long as you're staying in that purpose, the work is going to create that opportunity. And you're just going to get better and better and better and grow and grow.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Robert Schuller said that I would rather attempt to do something great and fail than to attempt to do nothing and
It's a great
succeed.
quote.
Right, right. Great quote.
Yeah, most people out here succeeding at doing nothing.
Right.
You know?
Wow.
And most people don't want to start because they feel like you said, they got to be great to start.
Right.
But Les Brown said, you don't have to be great to start.
That's right.
You got to start to be great.
Absolutely.
And that's all I did. I just kept starting and kept restarting, kept hitting the reset, kept learning, kept failing, kept making mistakes, kept learning, kept growing. And
so it's just a matter, and I think that's important. That's an important point for our viewers, because if you fail, get back up.
Absolutely.
Right.
Get back up.
Right.
Get back up. If this doesn't work out, try something different. Because I think there's something in the air that's going on, and it's getting people to really think about entrepreneurship.
Yes.
Entrepreneurship. And as you look at the way the world is changing, communities will definitely need individuals that are entrepreneurs.
Yeah, we just left a meeting maybe an hour ago before we made it back home, and the guy was like, we ain't trying to create jobs no more. He said we trying to make our men and women entrepreneurs now. So he said, forget being a job.
Absolutely.
So what he said was just, I can't think of what he said.
Just over broke.
Just over broke. That's what job means,
We don't believe in that anymore.
We don't believe in that no more. And then, you read the book Think and Grow Rich, and you think about Napoleon Hill, how he said, pretty much you got to start with what you have.
Absolutely.
And a lot of times, like y'all said, we think we got to have this. We got to have all this lined up. And Steve Harvey even talking about it. We waiting for our ducks to be lined up a certain way. It ain't gonna never happen. And we always got this in our mind, this preconceived idea of how life should be or how your business should go. And a lot of times it don't even go like that.
No, not at all.
And it goes back to your story. You was out there, you're selling them turtles, and somebody seen your work ethic. They seen your grind, and then God opened up doors. We got to put some work in for Him to open up the doors.
Absolutely. We got to underwrite our own vision.
Right.
And we had to step out on faith. I believe that if we feed our faith, our doubts will starve to death. And that's how we have to live. That's how we have to move.
Right.
Because I would have never wrote the book that I wrote if I'd have listened to everybody else.
Right.
Everybody else is saying, you writing a book?
Right.
Ain't nobody gonna buy your book. Don't nobody know you.
Right.
I was getting all that. And I went back to the same streets that I was selling drugs on and sold my book right there on 147 in Halsted.
Right.
Between Popeyes
and Walgreens.
With
Harvey.
Right
Yes,
there. When that light turned red, I went out there and said, from the streets to the stage. That's the name of my book. From the streets to the stage.
From the streets to the
I
stage.
used to sell dope. Now I sell hope. $5. From the streets to the stage. I used to sell dope. Now I sell hope. $5.
Right.
People was rolling their windows down, buying my book. Buying, how much you say? Buying. They was buying it. And then somebody said, hey, I think my superintendent would love this book for her district. And back in 2008, when I first published my book, Dr. Leela Bridges from School District 152 had me in her office and said, I love this. I want all my 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th graders to have a copy of this book.
Oh, wow.
Awesome.
How much are you going to charge me? I said, you know what? My book is $14.95 on Amazon. I said, but for you, and because I'm a product of District 152,
Right.
$8, right?
Right.
$8 times 1,200, that's $9,600 all day.
Right.
Because I went out on the same streets. Most people don't, they're like, man, you crazy.
Yeah.
Going back.
Yeah.
Right.
You crazy for,
Right.
yeah, I am a little crazy.
Yeah.
But I'm willing to do the things that that other people are not willing to do so that I can have the things that other people won't ever have.
Oh, wow. So you got to tell us, I know time probably getting close. Tell us about Mental Beast.
Woo.
Tell us about Mental Beast. I see you on Facebook every
Radio.
morning, 5 o'clock. I see Low Brown on Facebook, and y'all just got my wife motivated.
Mental
We motivated.
Beauty
and the
Yeah, so
Yes.
tell us about Mental Beast and how we can
goodness.
find you, the radio station, all that good stuff.
Oh my goodness, Mental Beast. Oh my goodness. I just came back this morning from talking about becoming a mental beast in DC at the New Beginnings Youth Development Center. Mac McGee afforded me the opportunity to speak to those youth that were detained. And I told them how you have to develop into becoming a mental beast because there's going to be a lot of obstacles. I told them that the battles I won and lost right here.
Yeah.
So we have to take control of the mindset that we develop that nothing can stop us.
Yeah.
You know, the average millionaire tries 17 different things before they make their first million.
Right.
Because they develop a certain mindset. So when I was experiencing the toughest time of my life, you guys was at that event and didn't even know it.
No.
I scheduled that event because I had to get back to who I was. I had so many different things coming at one time, and I hadn't been on a stage motivating, doing what I'm passionate about in so long. 2-3 years had passed before I had my own event, right? So Mental Beauty, who spoke, Low Brown, came backstage and she put her hand on my shoulder.
She's just such a queen. She's elegant. I just remember her from the event.
I didn't even, that was our first time meeting. She said, "Is everything okay?" And her voice just, and I looked out and she was so beautiful. And she comforted my spirit.
Right.
Yeah.
Everything was good.
Right.
So later in that week, we had a conversation. And she had reserved a Mental Beast page on Facebook through our social media a couple years prior. She was looking for her mental beast. And little did I know, I was looking for my mental beauty.
Right.
Because I needed to have that beast mentality to make it out of that place and that space that I was in.
Right.
So what you guys have been viewing and watching and witnessing is the rebirth of Lamont Brown.
Wow.
Yeah.
You know, developing into the mental beast that I needed to be in order to still complete the assignment that I believe that God gave me.
Yeah.
Won't he do it?
Yeah, he do it.
You know what I'm saying?
He
So,
do it.
you know, we've been enjoying every minute of it, and I believe that there's other people out there who are in certain places and spaces in their life where they need to develop the right mindset to come from, you know, where they at to where they need to be.
And I love the teamwork, you know, back to Napoleon Hill, because I love Napoleon Hill. I always tell people he's my cousin. But when you got to talk about that collaboration that y'all had, that unity when you first seen her, Napoleon Hill, when he wrote Think and Grow Rich, he talked about when he studied 500 of the most successful men. He said he noticed that they had, well, actually there's two things in common. They had strong sexual drives, and they all had strong women by their sides. And, you know.
He talked about matching up that sexual drive.
Exactly.
To your drive to success.
To your drive to success.
Absolutely.
And when you think about that, you look at all your successful men, whether you look at Martin Luther King, whether you look at Malcolm X, whether you look at President Barack Obama, you look at all these great men.
You look at Andrew Hill.
And my wife, she has made me better, and I thank God for her. And you know, we see the importance of women and men being together, and especially in the household, and how, you know, prevalent it is today that men are in the house and that they are working together as a team with their mate. Man, it's a beautiful thing. It's a wonderful thing.
Yes, we're sharpening each other.
Absolutely.
I'm talking about we're pushing each other. I'm pushing her to grow in areas that she haven't grown in. She's pushing me to grow in areas that I haven't grown in. Then we're scheduling. We said, okay, between Monday and Thursday, 12 noon to 1 p.m., it's strictly business. No, I love you. No boo. No.
Right.
And we are focused. You know, it's a joy working with her. And I thank God because we have some stuff that we're gonna unleash next year that we're putting together now that I'm just excited about because it's gonna empower couples. It's gonna show, you know, folks how to really take their life, their business and career, and they love life on a whole nother level simultaneously.
Right.
Well, I can't wait till both of you guys come on the show next year. So
we're gonna get both of you guys on the
Yeah.
show. We got a couple of about 4 minutes left, and 60 seconds. Inspire my viewers. Tell them something that maybe they need to hear today.
Wow. I always encourage people to write the vision and to make it plain, because I believe to think is to put it in ink. And even when it comes to you, a lot of times we wait for other people to encourage us, but we have to encourage ourselves, just like David did. We got to encourage ourselves. So I challenge you to write an affirmation that you speak life to yourself every day, because life and death is in the power of the tongue. And every morning I do it for myself. I say, Lamont, you are successful. You are more than a conqueror. You will not be denied. You will defy the odds because you put your trust in God. Your mission is to be a faithful servant to God's people. You must serve your family first, then wisely serve others. You will help people strive for success in every aspect of their life, mentally, physically, spiritually, financially, and politically. Why? Because one day, Lamont, you stood up and said that you was going to be a man. The M stands for you meeting your challenges. The A stands for you accepting your responsibilities. And the N stands for you never let anybody or anything keep you down. And even when you fall down, like Les Brown said, fall on your back, because if you can look up, you can get up.
Oh, wow.
All right, that was excellent. There you have it. We thank everybody for tuning in to Contemporary Living with Farmer and Hill. On behalf of my wife, the former alderman over here, we thank you for tuning in. And as always, we thank God for his unmerited and undeserving favor called grace, because grace is the total absence of any works. You can't work for grace, you can't buy grace, you can't sell grace. It is simply what God has given to each and every one of us, because we believe that Christ died for our sins, he was buried, and he rose again the third day for our justification. Be blessed.
Bye-bye.
Teenage on the track.